What is up, guys? It's me! And today, we're heading to one of the most beautiful cities in the world, Florence, Italy. Now, most people think of Florence as the birthplace of the Renaissance. You know, Michelangelo, the Duomo, the Uffizi Gallery, art, beauty, romance, all that good stuff. But beneath those cobblestone streets and charming piazzas lies a much darker history. And today, we're going to uncover one of Florence's creepiest secrets. So, grab your espresso, get comfortable, and let's dive into the mystery of Via del Corso! Back in the 14th century, Via del Corso wasn't just some random street. Nope! It was home to Florence's wealthiest residents. We're talking elite bankers, powerful merchants, basically the 1% of the city. Fast forward to today though, the street feels ordinary. Souvenir shops, overpriced gelato, tourists snapping selfies. You'd never guess what lies just a few feet beneath your shoes. Because in 2013, archaeologists made a discovery that shocked the world. Workers renovating a bookstore along Via del Corso stumbled upon something strange. At first, it was just a skull. But when the digging continued, they uncovered not one, not 10, but 65 human bodies buried beneath the street. 65? Right under one of Florence's busiest roads. Now, here's where it gets weird. These weren't random burials. The skeletons included men, women, even children. Some as young as 2 years old. And almost all of them had been buried face down. Yeah, face down. At first, nobody could explain it. Why would entire families be buried this way? Archaeologists studied the bones, expecting to find signs of plague or maybe starvation. But nope! These weren't epidemic victims. They hadn't died in some natural disaster. Most were young adults between 20 and 40 years old. Strong, healthy, at least until something killed them. And that's when researchers noticed another disturbing detail. Almost every skeleton had cloth stuffed into its mouth, gagged, silenced. It was clear. These people weren't victims of disease. They were victims of murder. But that only led to more questions. Who were these people? Why were they executed? And why hide them beneath the very heart of Florence? The clothing gave a huge clue. These weren't peasants. Far from it. Some were wrapped in linen, others in fine leather. One even wore a silk nightgown. These were wealthy citizens, members of Florence's upper class. So, who kills off rich and powerful families in the middle of one of Europe's most important cities? Well, if you know Florence, you probably already get the Medici. Now, quick refresher. The Medici family was basically the ruling dynasty of Florence from the 5th, 10th through the 18th century. Bankers, popes, dukes they controlled money, politics, religion. If someone crossed them, it usually didn't end well. But the roots of their power go back even earlier, back to the 1300s. See, in 1325, Florence was in deep financial crisis. Floods, destruction, famine. It was chaos. The Medici stepped in with a clever move. They opened a bank offering loans to desperate citizens. And, surprise, surprise, by controlling the city's money supply, they also started controlling its politics. Fast forward to 1348. The Black Death hits Florence. Almost half the population is wiped out. But instead of despairing, the Medici saw an opportunity. through their propaganda machine run by a guy named Giovanni. Villainite convinced the people that the plague was punishment from God, and they conveniently blamed Florence's bishop for corruption and greed. The bishop and his allies panicked. Seeking safety, they fled right into the Medici palace. Bad move. That night, guards stormed in, dragged them out, and executed them in front of a massive crowd. Their heads hung from the Ponte Vecchio bridge. That was just the beginning. The Medici weren't content with one rival. Their next target? The powerful Pazzi family. Rumors spread again. Thanks to Villainidad, the Pazzis were hoarding food during the plague, profiting off suffering. Tensions boiled over. One March night in 1348, the Pazzis tried to strike first. They armed themselves, confronted the Medici near Santo Spirito Hospital. But the Medici were ready. The attack failed. The Pazzis who survived were rounded up, quietly executed, and secretly buried. Guess where? Yep. Under what would eventually become Via del Corso. Construction of the street began soon after, around 1348, and wrapped up a few years later. Workers digging foundations apparently stumbled on the graves back then too. And city officials, they panicked. To prevent contamination, they ordered the bodies reburied deeper, face down, out of sight, out of mind. Then, to make sure no one ever remembered, elegant buildings were constructed over the graves. And for centuries, Florence's citizens walked above these silent victims, completely unaware of what was below. Fast forward almost 700 years. A renovation project pulls back the curtain, and suddenly, the secrets of Via del Corso are exposed. Now we're left with this chilling question. What should we do with these bodies today? Should they be carefully exhumed, studied, given a proper burial? Or should they remain where they've rested for centuries forever, part of Florence's hidden history? I'll let you decide. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. As for me, Florence has plenty more secrets waiting to be uncovered. Ancient palaces, underground tunnels, forgotten crypts. If you want to join me as we keep exploring the darker side of history, make sure to follow along. Big shout out to all of you supporting the channel. You guys make these deep dives possible. And with that, I'll see you next time.